Hello and welcome to one and all. In today's class, we will check out the next law of consumption, the law of equi-marginal utility. So this law is directly derived from the law of diminishing marginal utility. See, the law of diminishing marginal utility is dealing with only one commodity. See, if you remember in our example, we have taken the consumer keeps on consuming one commodity, that is we have taken mangoes, and then after consuming the commodity one after another, how the satisfaction keeps on decreasing. So this in actual practice, the consumer is not satisfied after consuming only one particular commodity, isn't it? He wants so many goods and services. And another problem is he's having only a limited amount of money income. So he has to know that how he has to distribute this limited money income on different goods and services, so that and in what way how he can get that maximum satisfaction. So that guideline is being provided through the law of equi-marginal utility. We all know that the basic problem, human wants are unlimited, means are limited, means can be put into alternative uses, and the problem of choice. So here they mean the consumer is having limited money income, and this money income alternative uses can be distributed to different commodities. So how much he has to spend on each and every commodity, how many units of each and every commodity he has to purchase, so that he will reach that optimum consumption, so that he will reach that maximum satisfaction position. So that is explained by the law of equi-marginal utility. Okay. So as this law is providing the guideline that the consumer has to spend in such a way that the last rupees spent on each and every commodity is going to give him the same level of marginal utility. Or in other words, as per this law, the consumer aim is to get that maximum satisfaction with this limited money income. So the consumer attains the maximum satisfaction position. So what he has to do for that? When he or she distributes the limited money income in such a way that the last rupee spent, on each good and service gives the same marginal utility. That's why it is called as law of equi-marginal utility. So each and every commodity, they have they give different levels of satisfaction to the consumer, isn't it? And of course, every commodity, if he keeps on consuming, the satisfaction keeps on decreasing. That we have already seen from the law of diminishing marginal utility. So under those circumstances, how much he has to keep on purchasing the one particular commodity. See, if you remember in our example, the consumer, when he purchases the fifth mango, his total satisfaction reaches the maximum, and then after that it decreases, the satisfaction decreases, and the additional satisfaction is becoming zero. So any rational consumer, he should not go up to the level of purchasing sixth unit of mango. So when he is having the limited money income, why should he spend more and more on the same commodity? Instead of that, he can stop before, and then he can start purchasing the another commodity. So when he start purchasing the another commodity X also, commodity Y also, that is after some time, that is also going to give him decreased satisfaction. So then again, he has to move on to another commodity. Like that, the process keeps on going. So under these circumstances, how much he has to purchase of commodity X, how many units of commodity Y he has to purchase, how many units of commodity Z he has to purchase, like that, how many units, n number of commodities, how many units he has to purchase. So if he purchases in proper quantities, he is getting that maximum satisfaction position. So what is that maximum satisfaction position? So when he attains this point, all the last rupees spent on each and every commodity gives the consumer the same level of marginal utility. So that's why it is called the equi-marginal utility. Okay. Now, before proceeding the law, proceeding to explain the law, I just want to make sure that you are understanding certain concepts. Okay. So you all know that what is the meaning of marginal utility? That is the additional utility derived by the consumer after consuming additional unit of a particular commodity. That is the additional, to put it very simply, that is the additional satisfaction. Now, let us assume that if the consumer is consuming a particular commodity, so marginal utility of commodity X. Now, what is happening? If the consumer keeps on consuming the margin one particular commodity, the satisfaction is decreasing. But so what he's doing is comparing what is the satisfaction he is going to get if he consumes commodity Y. So we haven't taken all these in the law of diminishing marginal utility, but in actual practice, it is not like that. So let us assume we will take another commodity. So let me, anyway, since we have taken mangoes, let me continue with that. Let us assume this is mangoes and this one, Y commodity happens to be apples. No, the consumer is having a limited money income. Okay. So let us assume he is having 100 rupees. Now what he is doing, he is deciding whether he has to spend on mangoes or apples. So suppose if he thinks that the marginal utility of commodity X, that is mangoes, is going to give him more amount of satisfaction, he will spend on mangoes. So, and now what happens if he keeps on consuming mangoes? This marginal utility will decline, isn't it? More of a particular commodity, less of the satisfaction. So this marginal utility will decline. And since he's not purchasing commodity Y, this marginal utility will increase. More of one commodity, less satisfaction. Less of one commodity, more satisfaction. So if he keeps on consuming commodity X, this marginal utility will decrease and Y's marginal utility will keep on increasing. So at one point of time, marginal utility of commodity X will be equal to marginal utility of commodity Y. So now when the consumer reaches this position, then he is in that maximum satisfaction position. Now, suppose there are not only two commodities, there are innumerable number of commodities are there in the market. So let us take another commodity, oranges. Okay, let us assume that this is the marginal utility of dessert. Now, this is, we have already equalized commodity X and commodity Y by purchasing so and so quantities of commodity X and so and so quantities of commodity Y. Now he wants to purchase oranges. Now suppose if he finds that this is marginal utility, the satisfaction which he is going to get out of consuming oranges is greater than whatever he is getting out of apples and mangoes. So again he starts purchasing on commodity Z. Okay, now what is happening? If he keeps on increasing the consumption of oranges and he is no longer purchasing apples and mangoes, now he started purchasing oranges. So automatically this marginal utility will decrease and this marginal utility will increase until one point this all these will become equal. Mu of I will equal to marginal utility of commodity S. Now, this is the process. So like that, the consumer keeps on purchasing a particular commodity till the marginal utilities of all the commodities are equal. Okay. So that is marginal utility of commodity X, that must be equal to marginal utility of commodity Y, that must be equal to Z, that must be equal to marginal utility of n number of commodities, which must be equal to marginal utility of M. So this M is marginal utility of money is nothing but savings. Okay. So what the consumer is doing, the entire money income, whatever the money income he is receiving, part of the money income he is keeping it in this part is converting the part of the money income in the form of goods. This part is keeping it in the form of savings. So how much utility he is going to get by keeping a part of the money income in the form of saving, the same utility you should get by converting the part of the money income in the form of goods. So when, in other words, partly is saving, the remaining part is spending on on goods and services. So this goods and services, the money in the form of goods and services must equalize money in the form of savings. So if that position is reached, the consumer is in equilibrium position. Okay. But one thing is, see here we have not, I have not included the price, but in actual practice for each and every commodity, the consumer has to pay there is a price for mangoes, there is a price for apples, there is a price for oranges, isn't it? So in every commodity, the consumer has to pay the price also. So he compares what is the price he is going to pay for oranges and what is the satisfaction he is going to get out of oranges. What is the price he is going to pay for apples and what is the satisfaction he is going. Like that, he keeps on comparing the prices of each and every commodities with their respective satisfaction, and he has to distribute in this way. Then he will get that maximum satisfaction. To put it more clearly, uh, I explained to you one of the importances of law of diminishing marginal utility. There is a point called as optimum consumption. So optimum consumption means he should not go to the extent of vomiting. He should not purchase 6 units of mangoes. Okay, I'm taking the same example. So at what point of time he has to stop? So suppose, this also I explained to you. Suppose if the price of X or mangoes happens to be rupees 20. So now, as per our table, when he purchases 3 mangoes, the marginal utility, you can refer the table. Okay, the marginal utility of mango is also quantity of X is 20, and if you are assuming the price of mango also to be 20, at this point he has to stop consumption. He should not proceed to purchase fourth mango, because the fourth mango is going to give him less satisfaction, but still he has to pay 20 rupees. So this is not, he is not, as a rational consumer, he is not supposed to purchase fourth mango. Okay. Now what is happening here at this point? The marginal utility of commodity X is equal to price of commodity X. So this is the point of optimum consumption. Optimum consumption is ideal stage of consumption. He should neither consume lesser than this, nor he should consume more than this. So that is the ideal or the optimum stage of consumption. So this is law of diminishing margin, based on law of diminishing marginality, taking only one commodity. Okay. Now let us take another commodity. So let us take quantity of Y. So quantity of Y or apples or anything. So marginal utility of Y and price of Y. Let us assume the price of commodity Y is rupees 50. Okay. So first unit is consuming, he is getting 1 util of satisfaction, and he is getting 60 utils of satisfaction. So definitely satisfaction is more than the price he has to pay. So automatically he will proceed to buy the second unit of Y. So second unit of Y, as per the diminishing marginal utility, the satisfaction should decrease. So this is decreasing to 50. Now, which is equalizing the price. So now what is happening? Margin, he has to stop at 2 units. Here he has to stop at 3 units. Here he has to stop at 2 units. So at this point, marginal utility of Y is equal to price of Y. So if he satisfies this condition, see now here what is happening here? Marginal utility of the last rupee spent on every commodity should give him the same marginal utility. So mu of X divided by price of X. So 20 divided by 20 is equal to 1. Here also mu of Y divided by price of Y. So 50 divided by 50 is equal to 1. So this ratio, if he keeps on equalizing, then automatically he will be under the condition of equilibrium. Okay. So there are the law of equi-marginal utility. There are other names for this law. So the one name is the law of equi-marginal utility. As I mentioned, the last rupees spent should give him the same marginal utility. So that's why it is called as the law of equi-marginal utility. Another name for this law is the law of substitution. So why it is called the law of substitution, I mentioned to you. If the marginal utility of commodity X is greater than marginal utility of Y, automatically the consumer is substituting commodity X for commodity Y till mu of x is equal to mu of y. Like that, whichever commodity is going to give the consumer the greater satisfaction, he will keep on substituting that particular commodity till the satisfaction is equalizing. So that's why it is called as the law of substitution. Then another name is the law of maximum satisfaction. So if it distributes the money income in such a way that the marginal utilities of all the commodities are equal, then only his total satisfaction is going to be only that combination. In our example, if you purchase 3 units of mango and 2 units of apple, just for example, I'm telling you, if you purchase in that way, his total satisfaction is going to be maximum. So like that, if it distributes on each and every commodity and purchases a certain quantities of the particular commodity in such a way that marginal utilities are equal, he will attain that maximum satisfaction. All this with the table I will explain to you. And then this is also called as consumers equilibrium. So equilibrium, the meaning of equilibrium is it is a position of rest. Position of rest, or you can say the position of balance. So when the consumer distributes his money income properly, he will attain that maximum satisfaction and he will attain that balanced position. For example, as long as commodity X is giving him more amount of satisfaction, then he keeps on altering, isn't it? He keeps on incurring more amount of expenditure on commodity X. So once these both are equal, then he no longer need to spend any more money income neither on commodity Y nor on commodity X. So he is in the state of balance. He is in the position of rest. Like that, for all the commodities he is going to purchase. So at least for the time being, is neither purchasing any of the particular commodity, nor is he is in a state of balance. He is not spending on any of the commodities. So if he attains that position, he is in that equilibrium position. So that is the consumer's equilibrium. So the formula for that is mu of x divided by, I mentioned to you, that must be equal to mu of y divided by p of y. That must be equal to p of z. That must n number of commodities, mu of n divided by p of n, which must be equal to mu of m. That is the marginal utility of money. So if he reaches, that's why I told you, whatever the money income he is keeping in the form of savings. So if he reaches this condition, then he will be in the equilibrium position. Okay, that's why it is called as the consumer's equilibrium. And then another name is Gauss's second law of consumption. So it was the law of diminishing marginal utility was the Gauss's first law of consumption, because he was the first person to introduce the law of diminishing and equi-marginal utility, even though Marshall popularized it later. So this is called the Gauss's second law of consumption by W.S. Jevons. Okay, so these are all the other names of law of equi-marginal utility. Now let me explain to you with the proper table how we are arriving at the equi-marginal utility situation. Okay, so let us take an hypothetical example as usual. So the consumer is having a money income. So example. So the consumer is having a money income of, let us assume, rupees 20. Price of commodity X, rupees 3. This is only an hypothetical example. Okay. Price of commodity Y happens to be rupees 4. So with this situation, let us see how he is distributing his limited income. For the sake of convenience, we are taking only 2 commodities, and again for the sake of convenience, he is not keeping anything in the form of savings. The entire money income of 20 rupees is spending on commodity X and commodity Y. So how much units of commodity X he has to purchase, and how many units of commodity Y he has to purchase, so that he will be in the equilibrium situation. So let us see that with the help of a table. Okay. So illustration or the table. So first column, units of X. Second column, marginal utility of X. You can give some life to the table by saying mangoes, apples, and then units of Y. Any examples you can take. Numericals with this price, income, income price, any examples you can take. Marginal utility of Y. Okay. So let us assume first unit of mango is consuming, its marginal utility is equal to 33. Second unit, automatically the marginal utility decreases to 30. Third unit, 27. Fourth unit still decreases to 24. And fifth unit decreases to 21. And same, the first unit of apple is giving him 36 units of satisfaction. Second one, any commodity, consumer keeps on consuming, the satisfaction will keep on decreasing. So third unit becomes 28, fourth unit 24, fifth unit 20. Okay. So with this, he has to reach the equilibrium position. This is how the margin utility changes according to the changes in the quantity of the commodity. So there are three conditions. He has to, the conditions to attain the equilibrium position. So the first condition is marginal utility of commodity X must be equal to marginal utility of commodity Y. Second condition must be is income must be equal to expenditure. That is for the sake of convenience, I said the entire money income is spending on commodity X and commodity Y. That means the entire 20 rupees has to be distributed between apples and mangoes. And the third one is he has to get that position of maximum satisfaction. So let us see how he is attaining this, able to satisfy all these three conditions. Okay. So the first one, marginal utility price of X must be equal to marginal utility of Y divided by price of Y. This is the first condition. So in order to know that, we have to divide it with the respective prices of commodity X and commodity Y. So 33 divided by 3, 30 divided, we have taken price of X as rupees 3, isn't it? So, and here 4. So everything has to be divided. Now, so if we divide, what is getting? So 33 divided by 3, we are getting 11. 30 divided by 3, 10. 27 divided by 3, 9. Then 8 and 7. In the same way, if we divide this, we are getting 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5. So now, what is the first condition? Mu of X divided by P of X must be equal to Mu of Y divided by P of Y. Now you can see that. So now I'm changing this because we have changed from marginal utility to this ratio. Okay. So now you can see that there are two instances. So Mu of, so here also it is 9, and at this point is also it is 9. And then again we are finding it 8, 7, 7. So all these cases we are finding out the marginal utility of commodity. The last rupee spent should give same marginal utility. This is what it means. Okay. So in all these instances, the marginal utility of those commodities are becoming equal. So out of this combination, which combination he has to choose? Okay. So for that, we have to check into the second condition. Income must be equal to expenditure. So first condition, these three situations are satisfying. Either he can buy 3 units of commodity X and 1 unit of commodity Y, or 4 units of commodity X and 2 units of commodity Y, or he can purchase 5 units of commodity X and 3 units of commodity Y. So this is the combination which satisfies the first condition. out of these three combinations, which combination he will choose. So for that, let us check out the second condition is total income must be equal to expenditure. Okay. So suppose if we take the first combination, that is 3 units. So what is the formula? Income must be equal to expenditure. How do you calculate? The second condition, income must be equal to expenditure. Isn't it? So quantity of commodity X multiplied by price of commodity X plus quantity of commodity Y multiplied by price of Y. So if we take the first this position 3 into the price of commodity X is 3, isn't it? So this is equal to 9, and then plus quantity of commodity Y, here it is 1, multiplied with price of commodity Y, this is 4, is equal to 4. So 9 plus 4 is equal to 30. So but he has to spend this entire money income. So if he's, that means till 7 rupees is left over, isn't it? He is spending only 13 rupees here. So this combination is ruled out. Okay. So this is not, he is not choosing it. When he can purchase extra commodities with his limited money income, why would we satisfied with lesser commodities? That is not a rational consumer. The same assumptions holds. Consumer acts rationally. So consumer acts rationally means with this limited money income, if he can purchase more amount of commodities, he will not go for a lesser commodity. That is a natural phenomena of any consumer. So this one is ruled out. Now let us take the next one. Fourth, here also it is 8, here also it is 8. So in the same way, if he purchases 4 units of commodity X and 4 into price of commodity X is 3, which is equal to 12 plus 2 units of commodity Y multiplied by is equal to 8. So 12 plus 8 is equal to 20. So that means what? His income is equal to expenditure. So we need not even look at the other combination because this is beyond the capacity. So he is choosing the, finally he settles for second condition also satisfied when he purchases 4 units of commodity X and 2 units of commodity Y. And the third condition is the consumer should get the maximum satisfaction. So maximum satisfaction in the sense that what is the total satisfaction, when at which point of time the total satisfaction is maximum. So maximum satisfaction. So automatically when he's purchasing more amount of commodities, his maximum satisfaction is going to be more. So that means this, if you add this 4 units of commodity X, 11 plus 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus again 9 plus 8. So only if you, this combination is going to give the consumer the maximum satisfaction. Okay, you can check any other total utility will be maximum only if the consumer purchases this amount of, or if you can, I mean, this is not the way we are adding. In order to have the total, check the total utility of the consumer, we will go back to the, here we have divided with the price, isn't it? Let us go back to what is the marginal utility of the consumer. Okay. So remove this. So what is the previous one? The marginal utility of X is 33, 30, 27, 24, 21. And here again 36, 32, 28, 24 and 20. So if you add all this, these 4 and these 2. Only this combination is going to give the consumer the maximum satisfaction. Let's check it out. So here what is getting 6 plus 2, 68 plus 140. So is equal to 182. So this is the maximum total utility the consumer will get only after purchasing 4 units of X and 2 units of Y. So only if it chooses this combination, its total satisfaction is going to be maximum. You can check with any other combination, it will be lesser than this 182. Okay. So if it satisfies all these three conditions, then the consumer is in the equilibrium position. At least for the time being, he doesn't want to spend any more money income on any. Of course, his total income is, as per this example, his total income is also spent. Okay. So he is getting the maximum satisfaction by spending his entire money income on mangoes and apples, and he is in that satiate position. So this is what the law of equi-marginal utility is written. So finally, that's what the last rupees spent on commodity X is also giving him 8 utils of marginal utility. The last rupees spent on commodity Y is also giving him the 8 utils of marginal utility. So that's why it is called as the law of equi-marginal utility. Okay. So this is how even though we have taken the example of only 2 commodities, any number of commodities you can take, the principle applies. For the sake of convenience, we have taken only 2 commodities. Okay. And this law, every law, they have got the same assumption. The consumer acts rationally. There is the measurement, it's based on the cardinal numbers. See here, everything we are measuring in cardinal numbers. Whatever the assumptions that are held for law of diminishing marginal utility, and whatever the limitations that are there for the law of diminishing marginal utility, the same assumptions and limitations are true even for this. But still, it is providing the guideline for the consumer, how he has to distribute his limited money income. And it helps in the consumer to, first and foremost, it helps the consumer. The importance is the first and foremost, it helps the consumer in getting that how he has to spend his limited money income. So it helps the consumer to consumption, the optimum level of consumption, how he has to distribute his money income. That is that guideline is provided by this law. Then for the producer, it helps in the production also. Producer, what he will do, he'll compare the marginal productivity of labor divided by the price of labor, and he has to equate the marginal productivity of capital. K is capital, that is machinery, price of capital. So he will keep on substituting labor for machinery and machinery for labor. At one point of time, they both will become equal. So the producer is in equilibrium position. And exchange, the whole process of exchanges, we are exchanging money for goods, and shopkeeper is exchanging goods for money. So the whole process is the law of substitution. And finally, distribution. Distribution, I said, the reward paid for the each and every factor. How the rewards are paid? The marginal productivity of labor is equal to wages for labor. How much is the productivity of the labor force? The producer is going to pay the same amount of labor. The marginal productivity of land is equal to the price of land. So like that, the reward for each and every factor of production is measured according to the marginal productivities of each and every factor. So this is the practical importance of this law. Okay. Hope it is clear to you. If you have any doubts, please mention it in the comment box. So if you find this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe. So until my next video, next class, take care. Bye-bye.